I like it. So session T-28, configuring email on a mobile device. Today's objectives for T-28 is to name the possible protocols that can be used to access email accounts and describe the steps of setting those up, identify the most common major personal email systems and clients may use, and name the steps of setting up and configuring those accounts through the systems of iOS and Android, and identify those common issues and pitfalls with establishing or configuring accounts, including security concerns. Of course, persistence and adaptability, we can see how that can be displayed in this technical session. As you go from different industries or different systems, you may be required to or tasked to work with one email system over another. So you just have to be ready to learn and adapt on the fly, and of course push through as you get comfortable with that new technology or those subtle changes, because the foundation really doesn't change much. Chris, because I see your face still, I'm going to ask that you start us off today.
Sure. Email protocols. The main protocols used for email and mobile devices are the same as desktop. POP3 is a client-server protocol in which email is received and held for you, the internet server. Periodically, the client email receiver check the mail box on the server and download any mail. POP3 is designed to delete mail on the server as soon as the user has downloaded it. It uses port 110. IMAP4 provides the user more capabilities for retaining email on the server and for organizing it in folders on the server. It also allows simultaneous access by multiple clients. IMAP can be thought of as a remote file server. It uses port 143. SMTP is a protocol for transferring email across the internet. You send email with SMTP and a mail handler receives it on recipient's behalf. It uses port 25. Configuring an email account requires a POP3 or IMAP4 server to handle incoming mail to the user and an SMTP server to handle the outgoing email.
Thank you, Chris. Between POP3 and IMAP4, which one do you think, and anybody can answer, that we tend to use more?
IMAP?
Yes, Marcus. Yes, Chris. But now, since you said that, one of you let me know why, as opposed to POP3.
Well, I use a lot of Gmail and Yahoo Mail, and I know it stores it on the server. I can constantly go back and get it. I remember the old days where once I checked my mail, it would be removed from the server.
Yeah.
And it's still an option with certain email programs, but
you're in the right ballpark. The fact that you can view it on several devices at any time and not have that feeling that once you checked it, it's no longer available due to that server going through a check and removing it. So we like the accessibility on the different, because we have all these different devices. You can go from email on your desktop to email on your phone, so you want to be able to access it. So IMAP4 is more sought out than the POP3, but both are available to be used. One thing that Kelly really helped us with the send mail to people, that lets you know that that's your send protocol, as opposed to POP3 and IMAP4 is your receive protocol. So that's how there could be a question that will try to get to see if you are aware and understand that also. So just keep that in mind. But you were right, Chris and Marcus. You'll see more. Go ahead,
Marvin.
sir.
Sorry, in the slides, do we address at all the concept or the auto expunge feature of IMAP? Because that confuses me whenever I set up a new client with my Gmail. And I just didn't know if that's something that's covered in a few of these slides at all.
I will say more than not, no, Marcus, because I feel like that's another layer. Funny that I use layer since this is the next slide. That's a little more in depth than CompTIA would request. But if there are questions about that, Kelly, if you have something for him right now, we could possibly dive into that a little later. But
Yeah,
please hold that for me though.
will do. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Marcus, you're there. I see your face. I can only see your face. If you'll read this one for me now.
Email protocol security. Most email servers have traditionally used SSL or secure sockets layer or TLS transport layer security to encrypt the email transmissions for extra security. Also, many servers block their default ports, which is the reason email protocols create more secure versions on different port numbers. POP3, TCP port 995, IMAP uses TCP port 993, SMTP uses TCP port 465 or 587. And finally, email servers configure other settings such as secure multi-purpose internet mail extensions, SMIME, which is used to configure digital signature settings for email and contacts from the corporate address book. If the email server has security settings configured, email clients must set up the same security settings in order to communicate.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Kelly, did you say something?
Yeah, I was kind of trying to this one. So with the secure sockets layer and the transport layer security, bear in mind that TLS is replacing secure sockets layer. Secure sockets layer is considered a legacy technology that is being phased out. TLS is the newer technology that is far more secure. So when you're looking at port numbers and trying to figure out which one is TLS, which one is SSL, TLS is typically going to be the higher port number because it is the newer technology.
I like that.
Should we be memorizing these port numbers?
For emails, it is a good idea to memorize these. It's just a few more on top of the, I think it was like, what, 13 or 14 common ports we gave you. So yes, I would add these on top of there just to kind of have them in the back of your minds. One of the tips we always kind of give is they're going to give you a whiteboard built in when you take the exam. When you go in, certain things you want to write down just so you don't have to sit there and scramble to try to remember them before you even start taking the test. Write down your common ports so you have those readily available. You don't have to think about them. They're already there. Write down your 7 steps for laser printing. It's right there. You don't have to worry about it. Write down your 802.11, speeds and megahertz or gigahertz, whatever. So those, have those things readily available for you, and it will help you answer a lot of questions. So just kind of have those ready in your mind. Go ahead and dump it out on paper so you don't have to think about it anymore. And then you can move on with your test and refer to it as quickly as you need to. And anything else you think you really want to get down on paper so you don't forget it in the moment.
Doctrine centers.
Said it again, Marcus.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, so if we did it through our computer, the at home, we couldn't do that, right?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. There's going to be a digital whiteboard that they will give you. It'll be an app within the test that they will allow you to type in. So you can go ahead and write your port numbers, your 802.11, your laser printing steps and all that stuff so that you have it right there for you.
And I'm sure even if you go to a testing center, that will be.
They will give you a physical whiteboard.
To a whiteboard, yeah. So you have the option to do either or. And as Kelly mentioned, just do a quick brain dump of all the stuff that you know to be accurate and the stuff that you got some holes in. Maybe through the test, you'll be able to fill those holes anyway. So don't feel like, oh, I don't know it, I don't remember it. Get the stuff that you know for sure and go ahead and jot it down and use that as an option to refer to. Real world situation, anytime I can say that I've been in contact with a recruiter or a HR rep, if there's a interview coming up virtually, I would normally receive an email with this S-MIME, and all the information is right there. And this is the way that people are moving in with this new technology to ensure, like I said, security, but also the simplicity of it as well, because they can just set up that interview and that date and use this as a way to push all the information to you without having to type all of it out, because it's all there. So Microsoft Exchange. Let's see here. Ronald, how about it, sir?
All right. Microsoft Exchange. Microsoft Exchange overview. Microsoft provides a special type of email server called Exchange, an Exchange server. This is mainly in large businesses so that employees can access their emails, calendars, and instant messages from a variety of locations. Exchange ActiveSync, EAS, is a Microsoft protocol used to synchronize Microsoft Exchange email, contacts, calendars across a range of mobile operating system platforms. It has the capability to set up and configure network connectivity and secure email options like setting passwords and remotely wipe or lock a mobile device. Setup. The setup of Exchange is not different from other setup, but does require more information like Exchange server address, username and password for account, and domain name for account.
Okay. Just take heed to set up username, password for account. That's just common practice, but that's something that, of course, that could be asked. Also, the remote wipe or lock on a mobile device, which is really neat, because if you think about it, if your device is become lost, misplaced, and you have information on it that you maybe don't have your phone fully locked, that's another way to protect that information and the integrity of the company's proprietary information if it's there. Most companies will set you up with their, once they get you in the system, they give you an email, they're using Outlook or something along those lines, and it has all these features built in, which is pretty neat and
Quick
pretty
question.
complex.
When it says it can remotely lock a device, are they talking it can literally lock up an Android phone, so all functions of the phone would be locked, or would it just simply lock up the Exchange function?
Both. They can do it from as little as basically locking the phone so that it can't be unlocked until someone has the accurate passcode, or it gets geotagged back into a certain location, or they can flat brick the device to where it is useless.
There you go. I know if your phone has internet access or any way that it can beam back home, it has the ability to be addressed. I know this is something that Kelly, you can correct me if I'm stepping out a little bit, but Apple has been over on this for a while. Like, you can one or two buttons and you can hit and lock your phone down or your notebook down and make it pretty much just make it useless to a person who's trying to use it.
Yeah, they can do that. That's why it's important to get that serial number on the back of your phone, because a lot of times they will ask for that just to confirm. But they do have that feature called Find My Mac or something like that, and then it will geo ping where that Mac is, where it was last on, as well as you can remote lock it, you can remote wipe it. One of the features they had for a while, and they even have them on mini laptops, is if you ping that laptop is stolen, the next time it's opened up and turned on, the camera will go ahead and take a picture to try to get a picture of the person who took the laptop. So that's another security feature that they do.
I guarantee this, man. I'm sorry. I have a story. For the longest, I felt like that was a very important app to be made. If by any chance somebody took your phone and once it opens up, the forward-facing camera takes a picture and send it back home. Even if somebody's just snooping, and they may have that right now, but I promise you, I came up with that at least 7 to 8 years ago. I got to start acting on these ideas. I don't know. Write them.
Got to work on your scripting there, Marvin.
So what?
Got to work on your scripting.
I know, man, because I lost on, I'm really a millionaire. People just don't know it because I failed to utilize this stuff. So
one idea away.
Just one away, man. Just one away. Kimberly,
one idea away. It's all it takes.
Can you read this one for me? Just the top.
Email and mobile devices. Every modern excuse me, every modern mobile device comes with an email service set up specifically from the mobile OS developer as a starter. They offer email services for creating or integrating accounts. The email integration process is known as integrated commercial provider email configuration.
Thank you, ma'am. We're almost making it idiot proof is not the appropriate word to say, but we're making it as simple as possible. Most new devices, if you want to set up your email on that phone, all you got to do is go to that in settings, and all of the different main email platforms are there. All they want is your username and your password, and most of the other things are already set up. Unless, like I said, you're going, this is company acquired email, and there may be some more steps, but for the most part, a lot of this is already kind of laid out for you for ease of use, because most people know that if you have a smartphone, you will be accessing your internet on it, your email on it, and let's create like I said, a starter to get you set up and smooth sailing with adding that to your device. I think that's pretty neat and cool. Alimu, if you don't mind, sir, just the top part.
Common email providers. Aside from the integrated service, there are common email providers such as Google, Yahoo, and Outlook that are easy to configure on each device. The only requirements to set up an existing email account are user and password.
I think I just spoke on that just a little bit here. But yes, as you can see, it's pretty much laid out, thank you, Limu, for you to just add that account and push it out. Because once again, it's going to be something that you use, and why make it hard? Just go ahead and have it laid out for you. Even on this Windows phone, you see the Facebook app there. So they just know that, why go ahead and have a space for it. All we need is your username and your password.
Also, wait, hold on before you click on. This list that's on the left-hand side, it's important to know that list. And it seems like AOL and Yahoo really shouldn't be on this list. With regards to the exam, there are still a significant amount of people who still have AOL emails and Yahoo emails. So for the purpose of the exam, even though I know for the most part these are legacy technologies, even though AOL is still on there, if you go in and set up an email on Apple, that list is important to know. So you want Microsoft Exchange, Mobile ME, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, and then it goes into other. Because they will say which one is not one of the common email exchanges you would use.
And I think it's AIM, the AOL's version of mail is AIM, AIM, I think.
Oh, that's Instant Messenger.
It's okay.
AOL
okay.
Instant Messenger, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Got some more here. K-Dunn, if you're available, ma'am, can you read the top part of this?
It is also possible to download the email provider app into the mobile device. these apps may also have, those apps may have more functionalities than the default service for emails on each device.
Okay, thank you. And you have people that would choose to actually have a physical application as opposed to what is already built in and integrated in your mobile device. So like going to Yahoo or actually going to Google and have it have more of a desktop feel when you open it up versus the mobile version is it's designed for mobile. It looks very minimalistic to a point that's only what you need is there. So, and it may have, by going to the application, you don't have to maneuver to find sent mail, all these other different things. You can do it very easily because with my phone and most phones, I have all my emails already there. And in order for me to really get into the meat of one of my email accounts, I have to like maneuver through. I just can't go and use it from the normal place. I have to go pull back out, go to that account by itself to see all the other options. So that's similar to what you'll do through an application. It'll have all those options there. So thank you, K-Don.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
We kind of already spoken this, but like, you know how my phone comes with like a certain amount of gigs, like I think I got like 32 gigabytes, right?
Okay.
But like how my Gmail is automatically in there, like I can't delete that app off, correct? But I have Microsoft 360. Also, my Excel on my phone. So I'm saying all that to say like, I don't need Gmail or Google on my phone 3 times, but I have Google One, the regular Google, the regular internet. It won't let me delete none of this. So I'm saying technically, do I still have 32 gigabytes on my own, or are those apps taking up majority of this space as well because I can't delete it?
Those apps are taking up space on the phone. And I think it's kind of messed up. I mean, it's one of those things like you always hear people are like either hard Apple people or really big Android people. And it's one of those things where they each have their pluses and minuses. You just kind of select which one fits more in your wheelhouse. But yeah, with the Android phone, since they're so heavily tied to Google, they make it a lot of times where you can't get rid of the apps.
Okay.
But I think you are able to expand the memory if you do want to do that, by inserting a micro SD card. And I think those are relatively inexpensive if you want to go that route too. And you could add like 250 gigs to it or something like that, something along those lines.
Whatever it actually can recognize. Yeah.
And now they actually, this kind of old now, but they have it to like, you can spend like $1 or something like that and just buy extra space instead of having to get in that memory card.
You're talking about the cloud, right? You're talking about cloud storage then at that point.
That's too, yeah.
So at that point, you're talking about cloud storage, not local storage on the phone. So those would be separate. Cloud storage is great to use as a backup, but understand if you're utilizing cloud storage for everything, and you're kind of drawing your information from it as you need it, every time you do that, you are using up your data. If you're not operating off of a Wi-Fi, that's going to chew up your cellular data pretty quick if that's how you're operating on it.
Okay.
So just something to bear in mind as you're doing it. So like, if you're going to use cloud storage, use it for stuff you're not going to access very frequently, like a backup information, the stuff you're going to use the most, that's what you want on your local storage.
Okay.
David, if you don't mind, I would love for you to read this slide, sir.
Mobile devices also enable setup standards to. Mobile devices also enable to set up standard corporate and ISP providers' email configurations. This configuration is done manually, and it is required to have the following information to complete this setup. 1, the FQDN, fully qualified domain name of your POP3 server or IMAP4 server. This server receives the emails sent to you, so it's sometimes called incoming. The FQDN of your SMTP server. This server sends your email to the recipient's email server, so it's sometimes called outgoing. The port numbers used for both server types, the security type if used, if any. The next slides will show you the steps to configure emails manually on Apple, Android, and Windows Phone devices.
Thank you, sir. And we'll go through those on these other slides, just the basis of what's going to be needed to do this. I'm going to try to see all of you for a second. And as a show of hands or thumbs up, who has a phone that has email on it? Like, I would think most people. Okay, I see one, blah, blah, blah. Joseph, what about you? I don't see your hand up. You have email on your phone? Okay, I got you. So that's everybody. So I know this, we've done this in some way, but as it stands, one of you may have iOS and one may have Android. And I just want you to see the subtle differences if they exist. So you'll be aware on both sides. So that's what we're doing. Just rest assured, it can be beneficial in that regard.
We do understand that this T session is kind of an eye roll for a lot of people because you may have it in your own phone. You've done it a couple of times, but again, we want to see the other side of that spectrum. If you're an Apple person, you want to see the Android side because you will need to know the steps. And if you're an Android person, you need to know the Apple side. Also, in the field, you would need to know it as well. One of the other things, just going back to earlier slide, I just kind of thought of where it was talking about the different apps for your email, where you can get the Google Mail app, you can get the Office 365 app, stuff like that. All those are well and good. However, if you're a person that has multiple emails across multiple different types, you may like to isolate it in a singular place, which would be like the Mail app that you would have on your phone, rather than going to those. So it's kind of what fits you best. If you only have a Gmail account, yeah, it's great to download that app and have that. But, if you have a work email that's off of a private email server, and then you have a Gmail account and then that you use for, certain things, and then maybe you have one that's like a junk folder that you use if you're signing up for anything, you don't want to give your personal email out, you could have all of those located in a singular app at the bottom rather than going to the individual apps. And you lose a little bit of functionality, but you gain a lot of convenience.
Who has an Android device? Ronald, Chris, okay, Kaden and Kim. So most people are iOS. Out of the four, Chris, I'm gonna let you do it. Since you have an Android device, I want you to read about setting up an Apple device so it'll stick.
My wife is an iOS person, so I've actually used her phone quite a bit, so no problem.
Okay.
Set up an email in Apple devices. Go to settings, password, and accounts, then tap add an account. Add account, sorry. Tap other, then tap add mail account. Enter your name, email address, password, and description for your account. Tap next. Choose IMAP or POP to configure the information for incoming mail server and outgoing mail server. Then tap next. If your email settings are correct, tap save to finish. If the email settings are incorrect, you'll be asked to edit them.
Thank you, sir. This makes it easier because most people, Kimberly, go ahead and take over this one for me. I think we have like one more Apple one.
Click the advanced icon to edit your incoming mail server. Toggle the on button for use SSL. Set the authentication method to password if it's not already set. Then click back to your mail settings screen. Now click the SMTP listing to edit your ongoing mail server settings. Toggle the on button for use SSL. Set the authentication method to password, then click back to your mail settings screen.
Thank you, ma'am. Going through the prescribed motions of how to address this. Now we have Android. So Camille, you're up, ma'am.
All right. Set up email in an Android. On an Android mobile device, follow these steps. 1, click your device's email icon. On the page that follows, select add account. Second, type your email address and password and click next. Third, select POP3 or IMAP. On the next screen, enter your username, your email address, and your password, the FQDN of the incoming server, the port number, and the security type if one is in use. And finally, enter the FQDN of your SMTP server, the port number, your username, and your password. Also select require sign in.
Thank you, ma'am. This is what Camille so eloquently just read, and it goes through all of the items that you have to fill out, and it's telling you how to fill them out. And if you notice, it's a different GUI, it's a different interface, but the information that's required is the same on both devices. You need the incoming, we need the outgoing, we need to know what type of account that you're going to set up, and we need to have the information about the account, which is the username and password. So you have the bones because you have a device already that you set up. You just need to see how it appears in that other OS. What we have here? Who have I left out? Joe, once you there you go. I'm ready for you, sir.
Okay, I'll try. Set up Exchange in Android devices. To configure Exchange on an Android mobile device, follow these steps. Open the Mail application, enter your email address and password, click Next, and then click Exchange Account. Enter the domain, username, password, and Exchange server address. Check use secure connection and accept all SSL certificates. After authentication, check the boxes associated with the features you want to include, such as push, amount to sync, notifications, sync contacts, sync calendar, and sync calendar amount or calendar amount. Yeah. Click Next. On the next screen, you'll need to give an account name and your name. Having done this for the last 10 years with UPS, that is wrong.
Tell me, speak on it.
To configure Exchange on an Android mobile device, you don't open the Mail app you're using. You go into the settings, and then you're going to click Mail or Mail Accounts or Exchange. Usually it's Mail Accounts. And then in there, you're going to find Exchange. And then you're going to put in your server information. And then the only time you're going to put you'll put in your password, but you'll put in your password when you're done with all the Exchange setup. You'll put in your password, opening up the email account the first time to verify that your password is valid for email from that Exchange server.
Got you. So, and I totally can see that. I feel like having that experience, you're able to see it from a very specific lens. And I'm sure as they created this slide or assisted in creation of this slide, they didn't want to be too specific. They gave it more of a vague approach, because all of what you said can be deciphered through in this slide just from a more generic vantage point almost. I totally get what you're saying, Joe, because it may not be directly the same. So I do appreciate that. Here we go, some information about Windows phone devices. Hey, we don't have a lot of them, so I'm going to speak on this one. So on start, flick left to the app list. Tap settings and then tap email accounts. Tap add an account. Tap the email address box and then type in your email. Tap password box, type in your password. POP3, IMAP4, and SMTP, of course, right? And then tap sign in. The flick left is perfect. I like that. But a lot of the same, just looking differently. So that's what we wanted to kind of drive home especially in this particular T session. Pitfalls. Let's see who I'm going to pick on. Everest. Help me out, sir.
Pitfalls when configuring email. Remember username and password. If you forget your email username and password, it is impossible to configure your email account on your phone. Number 2, no provider settings. To configure email manually, make sure you know your email provider settings. If you don't know them, you can look them up or contact your email provider. Number 3, error messages. If an email setup that has been working well for a while suddenly gives errors, not connecting or not downloading emails, it is likely that either the incoming or outgoing server is down or that the DNS server has quit working.
Thank you, sir. And that makes so much sense. Don't automatically assume that it's something on your end, because if it's been working, you had it set up successfully and it's been working for some time now, you may have to wait because there are disruptions, not often, but it's so possible. So don't fret, but maybe you have to call your IT department or someone that's going to be familiar with who set up the email if it wasn't you, and see if these things are down for some odd reason. Very, very, very straightforward here. Faison, if you're available.
Most email servers have traditionally used secure socket layers, SSL, or transport.
Stop for me, Faison.
Sorry?
Stop for 1 second. This looks very similar to a slide we just already read. I don't know if you guys caught.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Maybe very slight changes. So I'm not gonna make you read this again. Basically, what Kelly said, moving from SSL to TLS, and that number is gonna be a higher number, typically. So just keep that in mind, especially if you see SMTP, SSL, that's port 465, TLS is port 587 here. So just keep that in mind. And we talked about SMIME. So Faison, I'm gonna save you for another slide.
I think all the rest are slides that have been done before, but just, yeah.
Okay. Woo. Any questions?
You just click to the objectives at the end.
I got you.
Oh, wait, we got
a time to climb.
Time to climb.
Okay, I need to unshare. And because I don't have my secondary screen, Kelly, I'm shooting blind right now. So
I'll let you know if there's a problem.
All right, appreciate it.
Where's our fun little music that goes with this?
Be my luck, I probably didn't share music, Chris. You know me. I see 14 in. I think that's where that's my number. So I'm gonna hit start. There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud. Okay, Alimu, good job. Pretty close at the top here.
Chris, Alimu, and David.
I think I can
Congrats.
share that right quick. Let's see. Good job, folks. Great portion of that was me. I like it. All right. I don't know.
Well, after all that,
We're hoping to close this up, that we were able to get you through the protocols and access the email accounts and the steps to set those up. We talked about all of the major email systems and what you will probably be configuring going through those systems on both those main mobile OSs, iOS and Android, and identified some common pitfalls like forgetting your email and your password, or not knowing all of the information from your actual company as far as setting it up. So I think we did a good job of shoring a lot of that up today. And if there aren't any questions, we're gonna shut this T session down. I don't see any hands. I don't hear any responses. So go ahead and stop recording there, Kelly, for me.